Money Mondays. I hope you guys miss me just as much as I was missing you guys for the last 2 weeks. I promised you guys I was going to get an office space so I can deliver some content to you. Perfect. So let's get right up into it. For those of you who are new here, hello and welcome. My name is Alexis Milord. I am a real estate professional here in South Florida, and I am also your host and creator of Money Mondays. So this is a platform created for us by us. I wanted to create a platform dedicated to educating, inspiring, and developing the minority community, especially children. So this is the place where everything that's not taught in schools, and even sometimes at home, from finances to even mindset, everything is going to be shared here. So make sure you follow us on YouTube, subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us across all social media. You can see here that my Instagram handle is South Florida Oasis, and also my Facebook is Oh My Lord. I will bring that up on the screen a little bit later. But without any further ado, it's time to welcome our guest. Our guest is a phenomenal Black woman. She is the creator and CEO and president of Carrie's Guardian Angels, a nonprofit organization that is doing recovery, it's doing nursing, daycare, and also what else? We'll have her talk about that later. But let's introduce, drumroll please, Rainisha Gale to the Oasis.
Hello, everybody. Nice
Welcome.
to finally be able to join you.
Thank you for coming on again to do a reboot of last week's episode. We actually are side by side today. So let's go ahead and get into this good information. Today, Renisha, we're going to be talking about LLCs versus S Corps. Which one should you do based on your business? Also, what you should do after you get incorporated from your business. And any other good mindset tips that you have to share for us as far as entrepreneurship and getting started. So let's get into the nitty gritty. LLC versus S Corp. So let's talk about the difference between an LLC and an S Corp. You want to go ahead and...
No, you can go ahead with that.
Oh, she's going to put me on the spot today. Okay. So an LLC versus an S Corp. What is the difference? So the main difference has to do with how you want to prepare your taxes. An S Corp, you are... Okay, so let's rein it back a little bit. Mind you, for lunch, I had two glasses of wine celebrating this new office, so forgive me. I might forget a few things, but we will always come back with more information the next week, so bear with me. I had 2 glasses of wine. Okay, so LLC versus S Corp. The main difference is it comes down to taxes. With an LLC, you have the option to do your taxes as an S Corp or do it as a C Corp. There's many different tiers to it. A banker actually explained to me like this. LLC is for those businesses who you're afraid to be sued by, and an S Corp is a business basically where you're the sole proprietor. You're running it for yourself. So that would be a realtor like myself, or a tax preparer, or a financial advisor, anything of that nature. So depending on your business, you want to get an LLC or an S Corp. If you feel like people will sue you, get an LLC. But if you're a small business running it by yourself, an S Corp would be the way to go. Why? Because you're paying taxes at the individual level. An LLC, limited liability corporation, is basically saying that you are separate from the business, so your taxes are going to be filed once at the corporate level and again at the personal level. So it just depends really on what is your preference. Do you want to have anything to add on that?
Now, I'm a firm lover of LLC just for the simple fact that it keeps it away from your personal. Florida's a very sue-happy state. So, with that being said, you don't want one day you have a client that feels like you've wronged them and they want everything that belongs to you. There are people out there like that, and you got to be very careful when opening up your business, to cover your cues. Make sure you check into if there's any insurances available for your business. That's a good thing to have as well. And don't shy away from insurance, because insurance now ensures that if that person feels wronged, you will have the ability to be able to pay them. Some insurances don't assume that it's going to be $200-$300 a month. Some of them are as little as $12 to $15, just to have a peace of mind and for that comfort of yourself. So I would definitely check into that, depending on what your business is.
Okay, and the LLC versus S corp. You said that you're more of a fan of LLCs. Why is that?
I'm more of a fan because it's separate from you. So LLC means if they go after the company, it doesn't touch you. It doesn't touch your personal. It doesn't touch your house, your car, whatever that you have for yourself that's personal. They cannot touch.
So you would recommend a small business such as myself, such as a tax preparer, such as someone who sells goods, to incorporate themselves under an LLC?
Yes. If you're selling goods to the public, I would say do LLC.
Okay. And what do you say to those people who this is their first time into getting into entrepreneurship? So how would you advise them to pay themselves and also to do their taxes? Because now they have to do 2 taxes.
Right. So how I would advise you to pay yourself. First off, if you're starting up, you could always do sole proprietor. You could always do doing business as until you get enough money. It is more cost effective in the beginning. For the first 2 years of my company, I did it as a DBA. So that means you register with the state for about $35 for 5 years. And then, that way when you file taxes, you're getting a tax break. But at that point, I wasn't getting big enough to be concerned with being sued, especially for the services I was providing. So at that point, I was only providing notary services. So, being a DBA wasn't an issue for me at that time. As I grow, of course, I had to turn into LLC.
Can you talk about that for a second? Why did you go from a DBA to an LLC?
So as a doing business as, it means that you're just working under a fictitious name. So instead of you going to people like, oh, this is Renisha Gale, I'm doing your notary, da-da-da-da. No, I went as my business name, which is Phoenix Financial. It gave me the opportunity to open my own banking account, which was still on a personal level, but I was able to separate my banking from my personal banking. So my pay stubs from my job was going in there. The money I was making from my freelancing was going into my DBA account.
Okay, and going back into paying yourself.
Now, paying yourself, you have many options. I'm very firm on always keeping separate bank accounts, keeping your personal bank account and keeping a business bank account, especially when you're growing. When you have that bank account, you're able to, with your business account, pay yourself with a check. So that gives you a paper trail. Now, as far as getting ready to buy a home or other things that you need to show banking, you need to show strength. I do suggest there are plenty payroll companies out there. I love ADP, but there's other people out there that you can use that are very cost effective, where you can start your own payroll and they charge you per how much you cut. So like if you do 1 week, every week, you pay that week. You pay every 2 weeks. And then you pay yourself, so that way you have payroll. That way your Social Security is being covered. It takes out the right amount for everything, so there's no guessing game. As far as like when you're doing it through QuickBooks or you're doing it yourself, there's a guessing game. With using a payroll service, there isn't, and it looks more professional. And a lot of companies, brokers, they'll prefer to go ahead and lend to you because, wow, this person has pay stubs. That's all they want to see at the end of the day. Your bank account could be as thick as molasses. They're not trying to hear it. They want to see that, the time you're taking that effort out to pay yourself is important to them and to lending institutions.
Okay, and I also want to touch on that for a second because ADP, the importance of ADP is that, or another payroll company, is that they actually take the taxes out for you. So you don't have to, at the end of the year, worry about, oh my gosh, I need to set money aside for taxes just in case I have to pay. All that is done for you. So you would just go to your tax preparer and do your taxes as normal. So, very big up for that. Now, so let's talk about getting incorporated. I talked a few weeks ago on one of my episodes about getting incorporated. You can do that for not for free, but by yourself. You can do that on sunbiz.org. Do not pay someone to do that for you because you're already going to have to pay to get incorporated as an LLC, as an S Corp, or as DBA in itself. So there's no reason for you to pay someone to do that service for you. Definitely.
But you can do it yourself if you can read. It's quite simple. I mean, it asks you some questions. It kind of trips you up a bit, but if you're ever in doubt, Google it up.
Google is your friend, right?
Google is your best friend. Call Siri. But then if you really feel like, okay, I really don't want to bother this, I don't want to make any mistakes, then call me. And I'll help you out.
Call me
at a very minimal price, not the $1,500 that everybody else is charging.
All right. If you guys are interested in her number, you can take down her Instagram. It's right up on the screen, Carrie's Guardian, and I will also put her phone number up on the screen later for those who want to contact Miss Rainisha and get yourself incorporated through her. She has a very vast amount of knowledge. There's nothing that she can help you with. So after you get incorporated, it's important that you establish your business and establish your business credit. So once you first start, your personal credit is going to link to your business. And this is going to be for how long? A year or 2 years?
Which one? For the DBA?
It's different for each type of...
So when you do the LLC or the S Corp, it's going to be standalone. When you do the DBA, most banks, you'll see when you sign on to your regular account, you'll see that DBA account under it.
Interesting.
So it'll be on the same sign-on because it's not actual business. And you'll notice also at the top it will say sole proprietor.
Okay.
Which are good for people 1099. All our nurses, our CNAs, HHAs. Get a separate account. Put that check from that agency in there. And that gives you strength and growth. Like you see all these PPPs throwing around in the SBA. If you were doing that, you would be able to walk away with those big chunks of 40,000 like everybody else.
So how long does it take for your business to establish its own credit aside from your own?
Okay, so that's a little touchy. Now, business credit, it builds. So not because you have a business and a business bank account means you're building business credit. You're technically not. I learned that the hard way. The way to get your business credit up and pushing, you have to open things under your business. Like what I had to do is transfer my phone, all my family. We went onto one account through my business, so that brought me business credit. You could open your lights, even if it's in your home, under your business. That's establishing business credit. The only thing they're kind of touchy with the water, they'll be all right. Still got to do it under your personal. But the lights, your internet, all of those things, even though your business is running out your home from the beginning, put it in the business name to build that business credit. Now, if you know you're still struggling, the difference when you go ahead and do that, and you're a person that goes to Light Heap to pay your light bill, obviously you can't do that because it's under your business. So you gotta be firm and know that this is what you're doing and what your goals are, your end goals are, before you decide to go ahead and do that business, putting your business underneath the light. So then also, the next thing you would want to consider too is net 10 companies. Like little places like BJ, Sam's Club, they have business accounts. Once you open those accounts, you pay your bills on time, that builds up your credit as well. If you talking to the right people, some people will actually assist you by going ahead and putting you up under their business to help boost up your credit. But you want to go with somebody who you know is reputable. They're actually in business. They're not doing any shady stuff. because again, you don't want anything to fall back on you. You could do it the old-fashioned way, take the 2 years to 3 years. But to be honest, don't expect them to do anything for you in less than 5 years. Little things, yes, but if you're looking to get property, stuff like that, you need to show that strength of your business for 5+ years.
Okay, and I would also like to talk about something else that's very important to business, which is a Duns and Bradstreet number. Can you explain what in tarnation is a Duns and Bradstreet?
So your Duns and Bradstreet number is basically a number that they assign to you. Once they see that your business is open on Sunbiz, Duns and Bradstreet actually, after a few months of you being there, they'll actually assign you a number. They're not going to tell you they assigned you this number, but they will actually assign it. So every now and again, you could periodically go on Duns and Bradstreet, put in your business name and address, and see if it pops up. If you find like 2-3 months down the line you're not seeing it pop up, then you could call them directly, so they'll go ahead and fix it up for you. But usually once you open your business within 3 months, they will give you a number. If you don't use the number, however, they do close it off and cycle it back. So you definitely have to check into it. A lot of people don't know to look at Duns and Bradstreet, but Duns and Bradstreet is like your social security number for your business.
Is this number the same as your EIN?
It is not the same number as your EIN. It will be a totally different number.
And what do you do with this Duns and Bradstreet number?
With your Duns and Bradstreet number, that's what the creditors are looking at when you go to get a phone. Like for instance, I believe Verizon Wireless still holds on to this. Like if you go to them and you say you have a business, they're going to ask you, what's your Duns and Bradstreet number? Duns and Bradstreet number means that you're a legitimate business. That you're not just somebody who just went and got an EIN number in a Sunbiz. It means that you actually took that extra step to make sure that your business is legit.
Okay. And so how do you, being as though business is linked, your business credit is linked with your personal credit for a while, how is it that you build up your Duns and I can't even say it.
Duns and Bradstreet number.
Bradstreet.
So basically what you're going to do is once you've built up your business, unless you're coming out the back with a 700 score, nobody's helping you. I'm just being honest. Once you start acquiring, like I said, net 10 companies, because net 10 companies, they don't require you to have a perfect credit score. Now, maybe on the next episode, what I'll try to do is compel a bunch of companies that are net 10s that are easy to get into, that will give you that little line of credit to help build you and boost you up and show that you're paying good. Once your Duns and Bradstreet number gets to a certain level, you no longer have to use your personal credit. So that's why you hear all these people on the web talking about, oh, utilize your business credit, utilize your business credit. After a while, you can stand alone on your business credit alone and never touch your personal. But that will require, like when you go to your bank, another way to build up your business credit, like how you take a secured card for your personal to build up your credit, you can do a secured card for your business to build up your business credit as well. So what I've done, for instance, I try to, like, all my subscriptions of stuff for my business, you take out a secured card, you pay them. Believe it or not, Microsoft, like that Microsoft that's $12 a month for your business, that's a net 10. That's considered a net 10. So that goes on your credit as well. So if you say you cancel your account with them, of course, they're going to throw that on your Duns and Bradstreet. And you're going to think, oh, how's that hurting me? It will hurt you in the end.
While Renisha's taking a pause, I just wanted to remind everybody who is watching us that the chat is open. So we are live. You can go ahead and write your questions if you have any questions in the live so that we can go ahead and answer them while we have you and Miss Renisha here. So go ahead, shoot us a question. Once I see your question pop up, I'll bring it up live on the screen and we'll go ahead and answer your question. So Duns and Bradstreet, what are some things that we can utilize with our business credit?
Almost the sky's the limit.
So we can essentially use business credit like our own credit?
Pretty much.
What?
You could buy a vehicle. You could buy a property. You can... Anything you could do with your regular credit, you could pretty much do with your business credit.
That's good to know. And what are the repercussions if, to say, you were to default on a payment Do you
The
go through
same thing.
collections
You're
on
going
your
to
regular
collections. You're going to collections on your business. That's why some very, very powerful persons, the very, very powerful person in this world, has defaulted about 10,000 times on their business and filed bankruptcy over and over and over, but yet still they're a billionaire.
Oh,
So,
she's throwing shade.
I'm throwing shade. I'm just throwing shade because that person figured out the game a long time ago, and we need to get in the game. So basically, because with business credit, like if your business goes bankrupt, it goes bankrupt. It's just like if you, on your personal level, throw in a Chapter 7, does that do to you? For the next 5 to 7 years, you can't do anything. Same thing with your business. If your business goes bankrupt, it goes bankrupt. You just file it, close down the business. Like somebody I know, they close down their business, open another one. Close down this business, open another one after they've leveraged all the credit they could leverage. So, it gives you something to think about when you really sit back and think about the whole picture.
Do you have any other tips for us you think we should know when it comes to opening businesses, getting our Duns and Bradstreet set up? Anything for those people who are just signing up or getting into this entrepreneurship world? What should they know?
One thing is, don't doubt yourself. Don't undersell yourself. Don't think that your services is not in need of the public. A lot of times people are like, oh, but there's so many sign shops. But you don't know. People gravitate to you and what you want. So don't give up your dream because there's so many people doing it or it's too much competition. There's somebody for everybody out there. And don't give up. I mean, if you get in a stumbling block or something doesn't work out, that doesn't mean that you're going to give up and you're not going to do it. I've been at this for, I would say, the last 10 years of my life, trying to have my own business. And now, 10 years later, I'm finally stepping into what I need to. Nothing happens before it's time. And you don't give up, period. I don't care how many times those doors slam in your face. You open it back up. You go back through the door. You say, listen, and you say it with authority. Because at the end of the day, you rule you. You rule this business. And everybody else who's getting what they need to get wasn't afraid to open their mouth, to be honest. You're going to hear a lot of no's before you get to that one yes that's going to make your day. But you got to keep pushing and you got to keep trying. Never give up. I don't care if you defaulted on a loan or whatever the case may be. Just dust yourself off, stand back up.
Every no leads you to that one yes. Yeah, I had to learn that the hard way as well. So that was a little bit teeter-tottering on our next topic, which was mindsets. Give us some mindset tips, because this world is dog eat dog.
Definitely dog eat dog.
Especially for people of color.
Dog eat dog. And that's part of the reason for my non-for-profit organization, which is Carrie's Guardian Angel. It's about helping you to get through that crossroad in life, helping you to manifest what you need, setting up a game plan, setting up a financial plan, which this young lady here is on top of it. If you're looking to buy a home, whatever your goal is, let's sit down, work out that goal for you, and we go step by step. And you got to understand, it's not an overnight process. There's no magic wand. There's no, I could just pay this money and within 30 days. Don't let anybody fool you with that. This is why a lot of these credit repairs are getting you guys so broke. One, it's like you're taking up your whole life savings trying to fix this credit. There's things that you can do yourself. You can dispute for yourself. You could do your due diligence. I know people are on Credit Karma. I know it's not 100% accurate, but it does alert you. So it lets you know to look. You get a free credit report every year. There's so much things that you can do to boost up your credit that's not going to break your pocket or your bank account. I advise stop spending this $4,000 or $5,000 for a repair. It's not needed.
So what can we do for free to improve our credit?
For free, I would say do your due diligence, because a lot of these places, I'm trying to find a nice way of putting it, they have to give you a service, and by right they have to give you that service, and a lot of times we're not aware of that. So say we're with a company and they did us wrong and we leave and go to another company, we have a balance. They're quick to say, even though they didn't give us the service we were supposed to get, they throw it on your credit. you need to know that you're able to go back to Equifax TransUnion and say, listen, services wasn't rendered. I had this service and never worked one time. They took money out of my account, and we're not aware that we can do those things. There are people out there that knows that. That's why they're at 800 credit score. You're not going to put anything on their credit that's not supposed to be there, and they're going to fight tooth and nail. If you dispute something and it don't respond within 30 days, you have to do your due diligence within that 30 days and say, listen, I put in this dispute. Has the creditor responded? If the creditor didn't respond, it automatically goes off. And then you need to keep looking at your credit too, because they're shady. It will drop off of your credit, and then a year later they'll put it right back on. So this is why it's important for you to look at your information. Don't rely on a credit repair person. They're going to do that quick fix. Okay? They're going to fix it for you because you don't have time. You're working too long. You're working too hard. You don't have time to sit there and watch the dates. That's what they're doing. I'm not against credit repair because I use them myself. I'm not against it. But what I'm saying is a lot of it you can prevent for yourself. So say you go to a credit repair person and they get your credit up. Now it's your due diligence to keep it up. So anytime anything drops on there, report it right away. Call Equifax. I mean, it's annoying, but sit on it because you don't want to put out all that guac again to repair your credit. It's stuff that you can do for yourself and look. And also, even with the creditors, you could call them yourself. There's certain lingos that you can give them for them to back down as well. And they'll send you a letter and be like, okay, your debt is clear. But you have to know what to say. Yelling and screaming at them usually doesn't work. The person will press that button. But we as people need to learn to fight for what's ours, to fight for the right thing, meaning to be on top of it. Don't just let it go. Don't hang up the phone with that ignorant agent and think it's over. You call back. You ask for the corporate office. You get to the big person. A lot of times with the phones, for example, is your cell phones. We've all gone through that where they've either cut us off by mistake or try to double bill us or overcharge us. The FCC has a regulation against stuff like that. For instance, one time I had Xfinity. I still have them now again with my business. But before I had them, and they tried to bill me outrageously. So I told the guy, I was like, this is ridiculous. I'm not paying this sum of money. I think the bill was like $1,000. They said that we ordered movies and I had a code on it and everything. And I was like, they was like, well, then somebody gets the code in the house. I said, listen, I don't watch this. Nobody in my family watches stuff like this. I'm not paying this $1,000. And the lady kept going on and on. They cut off the thing. The guy said he was leaving it on, but then they ended up cutting it off. So I went online and I went to the FCC and I told the FCC what was going on. The whole time I was asking for corporate. I spoke to the corporate department and they were just like, oh, we'll make a payment arrangement, but we're not fixing it. The moment the FCC got involved, the head of Comcast called. They took away my whole entire bill. Yes, the whole entire bill. I ended up not paying anything at all. And I still turned off the service and went to AT&T. But, they ended up taking away everything. Wow. Just from calling the FCC. So just keep in mind, even your utilities, they're all regulated by the government. But we're not aware of that. So whenever you see they messing with you or your water bill is usually $80 and then you see it jump up to the 160, 180 and they're like, oh, well, you had a leak. Oh, well, not my problem. No, it is your problem. It's your problem to fix it and notify me. And you can report them to the utility board. And when you report them to the utility board, you'll see such a different attitude. But this is knowledge that we don't have as a people. Nobody sits down and tell you that.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I was just learning that with everybody else, with the viewers. So thank you for that information. I do want to go back to one thing that you said. You said when speaking to this credit repair specialist or just anybody on the phone, you need to know what to say. So can you give us a guideline when it comes to credit repair?
I can't give all my secrets, and she gonna mess up my business. Cause part of my business is repairing credit. Okay,
we are a tip show. We give knowledge.
I'm trying to mess up my business.
The more knowledge you give, the more business you're gonna get, right? All
right. So, basically, what you need to do is just I would say, to be honest, when you're trying to keep up with your finances, keep a notebook. So you say you're calling Comcast. Whenever you get on the phone with them, if you want them to do right, let me tell you. Once you get on the phone with anybody, what's your name? What's your ID number? Oh, trust me, I've been a call agent as well. They perk up in their seat then. Because we know, you know what the jig is. Okay? So, you get anybody you speak to, always get their name, always get their ID number, always ask them for their extension. And then if they're not talking what you want to hear, put a manager card. If you can't get the manager, ask for the corporate. As soon as you ask for corporate, they kind of get shaky and stuttering because now they don't want problems, because when you report them to corporate, it's not going to look good for their job. So now they're going to do their due diligence of actually looking over your account and not just telling you what you want to hear. So that goes for anybody, not just the credit repair people. Now, Equifax, if you see anything, if you go on Equifax.com, TransUnion, request your credit report. If you see anything on there that does not look verifiable, highlight it, report it, dispute it. They have 30 days to answer. If they do not respond within 30 days, you mark on your calendar the date you dispute it. 30 days later, you're going to call Equifax, or you're going to send that letter again, and you're going to say, listen, what's going on? Are they responding? Where is their proof? The question is, where is your proof that I did or took this service?
Same thing with collections. Don't pay them. Don't pay
It
them.
hurts you more to pay them. That's why these credit repairers are getting over, because it hurts you. Because when you pay them, it just lingers longer versus disputing it and getting it dropped off.
And these things can stay on your report for 7 years, right?
It's
Or
up
more.
to 7 years. It should not pass 7 years per our President Bush. Made sure he put that into law. I mean, I ain't a Bush fan, but I'm just saying he did something good. But it's 7 years. Now, that's another thing you got to watch, too, because these creditors, what they do is they sell it off to somebody else and renew. So sometimes you'll see a debt on, sometimes you'll see multiple debts on your credit that's from the one company, the same company. Like I said, they know this is a world that revolves around credit, so they will burn you anyway, any cost. Because in their eyes, you burnt them by not paying the bill.
Your credit is power in this world, whether it's personal credit or business credit. If you have cash, yes, cash is king, but cash is nothing compared to credit. You need to play the game.
That's true. And not to cut her off, like I, for real deal, know a man who's a millionaire, wanted to buy a property, has the cash money for the property, but decided he wanted to go to the bank, and his credit score was like 560. He has $1 million in his account, but
Millionaire with a 560 credit score.
I don't know what he was doing, child. Don't want to know. But he came into our credit repair. That's all I got to say. But he wanted to buy this house, and the people wouldn't give him the loan, even though he basically had the collateral to back it up because of his score. So don't think for one moment because you got buku money in the bank, it's not every time you want to spend your cash. And especially when you're going on a business venture, you don't want to take up your savings to go open a business that could fail 50-50 up in the air. Because remember, nobody's giving you a manual on how to run your business properly. So it is a give and take. So real good business people, to be honest, they don't spend their cash.
They leverage their credit. Yep. I can tell you firsthand, and I gave you guys an example in one of my previous shows of a customer of mine who took all of his cash and paid for a car. Cash, and he was coming to to that place to get title loans on his car. And title loans have to be the most scammiest gig ever. Okay, don't do a title loan.
Don't get me started. Do not get me started on title loans.
So, yes.
And if you notice with title loan companies, they're only in minority areas. That's all I have to say.
Absolutely. So just as a recap for this episode, we briefly went over what an LLC versus an S Corp, the difference, in terms of taxes, which one you should get for your type of business. We also went through credit and Duns and Bradstreet, which is a business credit. And now I would like to open the floor to Renisha to tell us a little bit about her organization, her services, and yeah.
Okay, so I have a few. So Carrie's Guardian Angel is focusing on recovery. Recovery as a family, recovery as an individual, recovery as a couple. We're trying our best, even for children, and we're also going to do a sector for abused and battered teens as well. We want to cover every part of the family unit. We're not trying to leave anybody out. The elderly, nobody's getting left behind. We need to stick together as a culture, as minorities, and that is my sole purpose with Carrie's Guardian Angels. Now, also, I have another business called Creating Elevations. Creating Elevations is where we help you with business development, helping you to get the right resources. Sometimes you're going through different walks of life, you're not understanding how to do your unemployment, food stamps. There's so many programs out there to help you to get where you need to go. So many grants. So there's just so much. It's unbelievable. But nobody knows where to go. Nobody knows what direction to look. So that's part of what Creating Elevations is about. It's about helping you, send you to the right places where you can get this grant money, this startup money. As minority, as women, there is so much incentive out there for us to build on that it'll be ludicrous not to take it at this point. And especially with this coronavirus, there's opportunity upon opportunity. We just got to go out there and grab it and not wait till it's too late. So that's part of what Creating Elevations is about. And for our agencies of persons with disabilities, we have Sister Wings of Hope. That agency focuses on our disabled individuals as well as our senior citizens, making sure that you have proper housing, to take care of, your family unit. We'll be taking Medicaid, private insurance as well. So there's a lot, and a lot more to come.
Yeah, so if you're interested in contacting Renisha for any of her business deals, I'm going to go ahead and put her number on the screen right now, so forgive me for what you're about to see. However, I want to let you know that the platform is still open for questions. So while I do that, let's get some questions in. What's the number? 754
423
422
423.
Really?
8816.
8816. Why I think it was 422?
422 is my personal number.
Oh, what did I do?
You breasted them.
Okay, so right here, this is how you can contact Renisha. We're still taking questions. We've gone over mindset.
Come on, the floor is open, people.
Yeah,
ask some questions.
Ask us some questions. We've talked about mindsets, LLCs, credit, Duns and Bradstreet, which is business credit. Yeah.
And keep in mind, everything that we're speaking about, again, is all under the non-for-profit as well. Please feel free to go on our site, make a donation. Everything helps. So, check out the website, read into it. Give us a call. We're here. We're ready. We want to help, basically. And we want everybody to get to the point where we don't have to worry and we don't have to sit here and wait on a stimulus check or to wait on unemployment. We need to build stronger families where we don't have to be in the people food stamp line. We could go in there, we could and get our steak. So, we have to really, really, as a people, step up, get together, work together, help each other, and understand that everybody's differences make us a whole. So, we got to do what we got to do.
I'm going to go a little bit off topic based on what she just said is we need to build more black families, and that is super, super, super true. Instead of fighting against, because what I've noticed is that we're the one culture that seems to have a lot of conflict within the culture, whereas every other different nationality, they work together. They work together because they understand as a whole, they're much more stronger. United, they can get much more done. And that's the same thing that our African American community needs to understand. We need to be uplifting one another, not tearing another down. We need to be educating one another, because if we are in a flight, for example, this whole Black Lives Matter, I don't want to call it a pandemic, but the whole Black Lives Matter systematic organization that's going on, why is it that we're only able to come together in times of defeat?
Yeah.
We should always be able to come together. We should always be able to come to my sister and be like, sister, do you know what I learned today? I think what I learned today will be able to help you in your business. So that you can turn around and tell me, I've learned something too. Here's some piece of information for you. You know what? Let's put your business and my business together so we have more of a piece of a pie that we own.
Exactly.
Once we can come together and stand together on 2 feet as a nation, we'll be able to change the entire world. Change won't come until we unite. That means stop the black on black crime. That means stop hating and being jealous and being petty and saying words negative. Uplift each other. That's all we need.
Yep.
Upliftment. So if there are no questions, I'm going to go ahead and end the live right here. Hopefully we'll be able to have Renisha back in the future. It was a pleasure to have you. Thank you again for coming back.
Thank you for inviting me.
For coming back and finishing the episode from 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
The topic for next week's episode will be announced tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining in. If you enjoyed this episode, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, follow me on YouTube and Facebook, across social media. Make sure you share these videos. Please share these lives. Get the words out to as many of us as possible. And I have a lot of great content on here coming for you guys. They're not always going to be people of color, because information is information, but we need to uplift each other and come together as a whole.
And we need the information, because somewhere along the line it didn't get on our plate. So we need to keep that information.
So that was all for today. Thank you again for joining, and I'll see you next week. See you on Monday.
I'll be back.